Welcome to EPG Pathashala. I am Ravi Korisetter, Senior Fellow, Dr. V.S. Wakankar, Archaeological Research Institute, Bhopal. In the subject of Indian culture and paper 2 on pre and proto-historic cultures of India, let us now understand the Quaternary period. In this presentation, we will get to learn what is Quaternary period, what are its divisions, and how these divisions are reflected in the geological and archaeological record. What are the main changes within each division, what caused them, which period is the most important in terms of human evolution and history, and the tools with which we study them. We will also see how these changes in the past affected man-land relationships. A recap on geological timescale. Geological timescale is defined as chronostratigraphic divisions in geology. As we have already have an idea that Earth is as old as 4.5 billion years ago, the geological timescale is based on subdivisions of the geological formations since the formation of the Earth. The geological timescale is divided into eons, which extend over several billions of years, eras which extend over several millions of years, periods which extend over periods several hundreds of thousands of years, and epochs several thousands of years. Quaternary begins at 2 million years ago, and since then we are all living in the Quaternary period. In summary form, the geological time scale is shown here. The earlier time periods are briefly mentioned as Proterozoic, Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic. Cenozoic period begins around 70 million years ago. This Cenozoic has been subdivided into two eras. One is Tertiary era and succeeding one is Quaternary era. The Tertiary era is divided into 5 periods: Paleocene, Eocene, Oligocene, Miocene, and Pliocene. At the end of Pliocene, the early Quaternary begins. The boundary between Tertiary and Quaternary lies at the boundary between Pliocene and Pleistocene. Quaternary is the fourth stage in the history of the Earth. Quaternary has been subdivided into two broad periods, that is Pleistocene and Holocene. Pleistocene period is placed at 2.5 million years ago, and the Holocene period is placed at 10,000 years ago. This is with reference to their beginning. The end of the Pleistocene marks the beginning of the Holocene period. Holocene and Pleistocene are characterized by distinctive climatic conditions. During the Pleistocene, the Earth witnessed series of climatic changes which have been known as glacials and interglacials. Holocene period is one such interglacial period. Now, the Pleistocene period is also subdivided into Lower Pleistocene, Middle Pleistocene, and Upper Pleistocene. These subdivisions are based on radiometric dating of sediments and early evidence of emergence of human ancestors and the paleomagnetic polarity changes in the Earth's geomagnetic field. The Lower Pleistocene is placed at 2.5 million years according to some scholars, and it is placed at 2 million years ago according to some scholars. The standard Quaternary subdivisions and its geochronology places the beginning of Pleistocene at 2 million years ago. The geomagnetic polarity time scale has helped in subdividing the Pleistocene into lower, middle, and upper. The beginning of Matayama reversed magnetic polarity marks the end of the Lower Pleistocene and beginning of the Middle Pleistocene. The beginning of the Upper Pleistocene is placed at 1,25,000 years ago. The Quaternary period is a subdivision of the geological time beginning around 2 million years ago and after the Tertiary period. The term Quaternary was first used in 1829 to refer to the river sediments in the Seine basin in France. This period is subdivided into two epochs, the Pleistocene 2 million years ago to 10,000 years ago, and the Holocene 10,000 years ago to the present, and forms a part of the Cenozoic era, along with the Tertiary period. Covering the recent glaciations, including the last great glacial retreat, this was a major dynamic period characterized by major changes in the environments, the climate, the Earth's magnetic field, global sea levels, migrations, and extinctions of various flora and fauna, and the evolution of modern humans as well. The records of these changes can be observed in the sediments, in the ice sheets, in the lithostratigraphy, in the paleontological records, in the floral, faunal, hominin remains preserved in these sediments. These records provide valuable information on human history. Quaternary environment. Quaternary period was a period of great activity. It was during this time changes conducive to human evolution began to appear on the surface of the earth. The Great Ice Age or Glacial Age began in the Pleistocene epoch. This was an important global event that had enormous effect all over the earth. Glaciations refer to the formation of glaciers and their effects on landscape. Interglacial means when the greater ice sheets melted completely from temperate lowlands, and interstadials refers to the periods when the ice sheets only contracted. There were also regions where instead of glaciation, fluvial stages occurred. There were four main glaciations in North America, such as Nebraskan, the earliest glaciation, Kansan, Illinoisian, and Wisconsin, while the interglacials were Oftonian, Yarmouth, and Sangamo. Northern Europe witnessed 5 glacials and 4 interglacials. The glacial periods were named as Eubourne, Menappian, Elsterian, Saal, and Fanelivetial. The interglacials were Wall, Cromerian, Holstein, and Eemian. The main glacial advances have been accurately dated, and their associated meteorological, geographical, botanical, and biological developments have been confidently established by a variety of techniques, from the study of sediments deposited in lakes, in the ocean bottom, and the analysis of pollen zones to the use of radiocarbon and potassium argon geochronological methods. Here we will show the difference between glacials and interglacials. During glacials, global events that began in the Pleistocene epoch refers to the formation of glaciers and their effects on landscape. North American glacials such as Nebraskan, Kansan, Illinoisian, and Wisconsin. North European glacials included Eburon, Menappian, Elsterian, Saal, and Wiesel. Alpine glaciations included 5 such glacial phases as Donau, Gunz, Mindel, Riss, and Wurm. Interglacial periods occurred when great ice sheets melted completely from temperate lowlands. North American interglacials are Oftonian, Yarmouth, and Sangamo. North European interglacials are Wall, Cromerian, Holstein, and Eemian. Alpine interglacials such as Donau-Gunz, Gunz-Mindel, Mindel-Riss, and Riss-Wurm are some of those well-known interglacials. Stadials, as we mentioned earlier, refers to contraction of ice sheets rather than melting and retreating or complete retreat of ice sheets. Stadials occurred during glacial periods as well. Stadials are colder phases during Quaternary, have an even marine isotope stage, and endured for thousands of years or less. Interstadials are warmer phases during the Quaternary, have an odd marine isotope stage, and endured less than tens of thousands of years. The Alpine glaciation saw 5 phases beginning with Donau, Gunz, Mindel, Riss, and Wurm, with interglacials in between them. During the Pleistocene, associated with Gauss-Matsuyama geomagnetic reversal, a series of momentous climatic events occurred. The northern latitudes and mountainous areas were subjected to, on 4 successive occasions, to the advances and retreats of ice sheets. In northern latitudes, throughout the Pleistocene era, the characteristics of animals and vegetal populations were determined by the advance and retreat of the glaciers. These frequently covered large parts of Europe, Asia, and North America with impenetrable ice sheets, locking up huge quantities of seawater and reducing average temperatures by 10 to 12 degrees centigrade, and ocean levels by about 450 feet, far below the modern times. So, glacial and interglacial periods also gave rise to fluctuating sea levels. So sea level strand lines are important source of information on former glacial interglacial conditions in any given area. Theories for the causes of glaciation. One important theory proposed for the advent of changes during the Quaternary was the Milankovitch theory. This theory was proposed by Milankovitch in 1924. According to his theory, all the climatic cyclical changes in Quaternary were a result of variations of different orbital parameters of the Earth and the modified insolation received by the Earth. The three important parameters that played an important role in the climatic changes were the Earth's eccentricity, axial tilt, and its orbital precession. So here we have a presentation on Milankovitch theory and the main issues considered by Milankovitch to explain advances of ice sheets and retreat of ice sheets as well. The following slides give you an idea of the three important issues considered by Milankovitch to explain the formation of glacial periods and interglacial periods. So the parameters considered by him was eccentricity, wherein we see that the Earth's orbit around the Sun changes from nearly elliptical to fully elliptical orbit. Axial tilt is also shown through this diagram, and these changes in the axial tilt of Earth going around the Sun changes periodically, and the periodicity is said to be 41,000 years. Precession of equinox. This is shown through this diagram here. And this precession of equinox occurs roughly every 23,000 years. These are some of the parameters which have been considered for explaining the periodicity of glacial changes and interglacial climatic changes. Eccentricity refers to the shape of the Earth's orbital changes from more elliptical to less elliptical in a cycle of 100,000 years. This indirectly affects the solar radiation received by the Earth's surface, as depending on the elliptical range, the Sun-Earth distance gets determined. Axial tilt refers to the inclination of Earth's axis in relation to its plane of orbit around the Sun that oscillates periodically about 40,000 years cycle. Growth of ice sheets is believed to happen with warmer winters where the precipitation would lead to more snowfall. Lesser axial tilt thus would have resulted in differential distribution in the equatorial and polar regions too. Precession refers to slow wobble of Earth on its axis, is also known as precession, which has a periodicity of 23,000 years. Greater seasonal contrasts occur due to longer distance of the Earth from Sun, with the northern hemisphere having winter and vice versa. Quaternary glacial and interglacial climatic cycles can also be reconstructed with the help of isotopic data obtained from a variety of sediments both from ocean and on land. Quaternary climate change can be reconstructed using deep sea and ice core analysis, which compares the ratio of O18 to O16. These are two isotopes of oxygen, one is heavier and another is lighter. Being temperature dependent, O16 being lighter evaporates more during the glacial periods, leaving the heavier oxygen 18 in the ice itself. Both these isotopes are absorbed by the foraminifera, and so the amount of oxygen 18 and oxygen 16 can be calculated from their shells on their death. Thus, this long record of climatic change is preserved through the foraminifera, and the ratio of absorbed oxygen isotopes gives us a chronology. Foraminifera are microorganisms living in oceanic waters. There are two categories of foraminifera. One live in the seawater, another on the bed of the sea. The floating foraminifera are called planktonic foraminifera, and the sea bottom living foraminifera are called benthic foraminifera. These foraminifera possess calcium carbonate shells, and they are useful for measuring variation in oxygen isotope between O18 and O16. Just as in deep sea, ice cores on land preserve more of O18 as it is the heavier isotope, and gets evaporated less during the interglacials. An examination of ice cores on land also thus gives us clues to the paleoclimatic changes. This diagram explains the process of evaporation and redeposition of oxygen isotope, the lighter ones and the heavier ones. The ratio of change is indicator of change in Earth's surface temperature conditions. There are a variety of geomorphic conditions in which evidence for former advance of glaciers and former extent of ice sheets can be reconstructed. Former extent of the ice sheets are generally identified based on the presence of moraines in middle latitude regions. Similarly, for well-preserved animal remains such as, for example, mammoth calf from Russia and fossils preserved in the ice, which are referred to as icemen, or some of the examples. The lake deposits such as wharves also give us an idea of variation in the lake levels, as well as variation in the extent of ice that advances in the past. As mentioned earlier, paleomagnetic polarity stratigraphy also gives us some idea of the periodicity of climate change on the surface of the earth. Some of the major climate changes are also coincident with the polarity changes in the Earth's geomagnetic field. This diagram gives you an idea of the changes in the Earth's magnetic field during the last 5 million years. Effects of glaciation are also seen in the form of geomorphic changes that have taken place in the mountainous and in the mid-latitude areas. Deep U-shaped river valleys are generated as a result of advancement of ice on land, as well as formation of moraines in the glaciated areas. So, importance of quaternary studies can be understood from the point of view of geochronology, from the point of view of past climate change and consequent environmental changes affecting the habitability of a given area, past extinctions, evolutions, and migrations of animal communities and as well as humans themselves. And quaternary period also helps us understand the adaptive mechanisms developed by human communities colonizing different parts of the surface of the earth. The quaternary period also preserves the best record of human evolution from the time man became the tool maker around 2.5 million years ago to till now. The importance of quaternary studies can hardly be underestimated, especially in human evolution. It was the time of great changes that finally gave way to the present living conditions. The Great Ice Age was a period of extreme climates. Vegetation, floral, faunal, and hominin species were entirely different. From pollen analysis, deep sea and ice core sheet analysis, stratigraphical and paleomagnetic and oxygen isotope analysis, fossil studies, we get enormous information about the quaternary period. This information not only provides us with a chronology, but also climatic and environmental conditions. These studies provide us with clues to answering why and how extinctions occurred, migrations took place, and evolution happened. It makes us understand the adaptive mechanisms at work, which helps some species survive the extreme living conditions during that time. It makes us understand how man-land relationships changed over time, how nature-dependent man could master the same. Against this background, what we can understand about quaternary period is that as a scientific endeavor, it is a multidisciplinary endeavor. People are working on distinctive disciplines such as palynology, glaciology, oceanography, and soil science and human evolution. All these scientists are involved in an integrated study of the quaternary period. There are different landscapes on the surface of the earth which have preserved clear evidence of the paleoclimate changes. The most important aspect of paleoclimate changes is geochronology and periodicity of climatic changes. Because climate has played an important role in the establishment of a network of ecosystems across the planet Earth. There are areas such as deserts, areas like evergreen forests, such as areas like grasslands, areas like deciduous forest ecosystems, and so on. And these ecosystems are exposed to these natural climatic cycles, causing expansion and contraction. Deserts expand during the times of glacial periods, forests expand during times of interglacial periods. Grasslands expand during times of interglacial periods, and also they shrink during times of glacial periods. These habitats are the habitat behavior is also very important to understand man-land relationships. Fluctuation in sea levels also are important to understand the relationship between human settlements and sea levels. As we know, during the last interglacial, sea levels were as high as today. But during the intervening period, sea levels fell down to 150 kilometers or so from the present shores. So the rise of sea level to the present shores is due to onset of Holocene conditions. So the onset of Holocene conditions is marked by the appearance of hot, humid climatic conditions. During this time period, the region Earth's surface experiences higher rainfall, and during the glacial periods, the Earth's surface experiences cold and dry conditions. So in the context of this fluctuation of cold and dry conditions and hot and humid conditions, humans living on the surface of the Earth during the last 2 million years have been very successful in adapting to these changing conditions in the context of cultural evolution that has occurred. For more details, please refer to eText. Thank you.